Hey, Pretty Girl Club. So today I just want to reiterate the talking point of don't talk crap about my phenotype and I won't talk crap about yours. So, for example, what a lot of people don't realize is that however you get dressed up, whatever beauty you represent, you are admitting to the world that you find that thing beautiful. And that's actually not a problem. Like for me, you will never hear me calling any phenotype mediocre because you guys know that my beauty standard is versatility. So I do include type 4 hairstyles in my everyday beauty routine. Like I have a type 4 wig in my closet right now. I have multiple type 4 ponytails and stuff. So it would be extremely hypocritical for me to bash something when I know deep down inside that's a part of my beauty standard. It would be hypocritical for me to bash darker skin tones when I know that I like to tan sometimes. It would be hypocritical for me to bash a certain body type, like let's say you have an hourglass body type or you're very skinny with an hourglass body type. That's hypocritical for me to shame that, and then secretly I'm trying to pursue it. So when I talk about the self-hatred that we see from unambiguous black women. The reason that I call it self-hatred is because I noticed that in that community, a lot of them have a habit of lying to themselves, and they will try to, I guess, convince us or convince the world that they are the blueprint, they're so confident, they have the prettiest features, and I have a hard time believing it because I feel like if you truly did think that your exact features were the prettiest, then you would be wearing them. So I don't consider it self-hate if you think a certain feature is prettier than yours. That's not self-hate in my opinion. Like for the dark-skinned women who say, hey, you know what, I'm going to brighten my skin because I think that a golden skin tone is prettier than mine, or I like the benefits from having that skin tone. I know a lot of people will dislike that and a lot of people will get offended by that, but I don't shame those women because they're not bashing me. They didn't bash my skin tone. They didn't call me mediocre. They didn't bully me. So I don't have a problem with them. They're just minding their business, navigating through society however they want. Or for the women who, let's say they want to relax their hair and then and they admit to themselves, hey, women who have type 3 hair, that hair type is drop dead gorgeous. I think that hair type is prettier than mine, or I want to incorporate that into my beauty regimen. That's fine. Like, I don't care about any of that. All I care about is when people try to go out of their way to call others ugly and then convince me that they love themselves. I feel like if a person truly does love themselves, they don't really feel the need to bash other people. They don't feel the need to pull up pictures of people or call them ugly or, like, I don't know, randomly dox people and stuff and talk about how hideous they are. Because remember, whatever comes out of your spirit, like whatever is coming out of your mouth, that shows me what you're thinking in your head. And it shows me like what's in your heart and what kind of spirit you have. And I'm not even a spiritual person. But seriously, if a person has a lot of hatred, if they're spewing a lot of hatred against a particular phenotype or against a particular race, that tells me that that person probably hates themselves and they are simply threatened by the social power that this other group of people is attaining. So I've noticed that a lot of times when it comes to unambiguous women and their interactions with us, oftentimes they're not paying their exotical tax. And when I say exotical tax, what I really mean is admitting within themselves, hey, I think XYZ exotical celebrity is prettier than me, so I want to look like her because she's drop dead gorgeous. That's fine. I would have no problem with that whatsoever. I actually feel like it's normal to think that certain things look better than you, or maybe you really admire a certain body shape, or you really think that curly hair is just drop dead gorgeous and you feel like that will elevate your look. Or maybe you're like me and you really do want to dabble in every single phenotype. You want to be able to play into your ambiguity. So whether that means looking more white or looking more black or looking more Asian, that's actually not a problem as long as you don't talk shit about any of those groups. So as long as you are respectful to actual Asian people or actual white people or unambiguous black people, then I don't have an issue. But if you try to pretend like you are somehow above those people, like, oh, I'm the baddest, or like we're the blueprint, we're the baddest women in the world, blah, blah, blah. But then I see you kind of like representing the beauty of another group of women, yes, I'm going to call that hypocritical. And I'm also going to call that self-hating because people who love themselves, they don't feel the need to spread hatred because there is no hatred within themselves. They don't have any anger about like beauty and stuff. A woman who thinks that she is beautiful and a woman who is getting what she wants in life, she doesn't randomly just get angry about women on the internet or like random celebrities and start bashing them. Remember, people only try to put you down because they see you as being above them. They are threatened by your position, whether it's your position in society, maybe they're threatened by your beauty, they're threatened by your visibility, they're threatened by the fact that you challenge them or they feel like you're kind of exposing their insecurities. But I've noticed that for a lot of women, their biggest kryptonite is they won't admit their own internal insecurities. And I'm not even saying people have to admit their insecurities to the world, but at least being honest within yourself and saying, hey, I think that Latina women are absolutely drop dead gorgeous, and so I want to look like them sometimes. Like for me, that's true. That's a part of my background. But I also think that every phenotype of woman looks drop dead gorgeous, and so I want to be able to play around in the beauty of all of those different phenotypes. And so because of that, you're not going to hear me publicly bashing other women and saying so and so phenotype is mediocre, or this hair texture is mediocre, or this hair texture is ugly. No, I can't say that because I know that I'd be lying to myself. I don't bash blonde hair. I don't say women with blonde hair are mediocre and they're going to age badly. No, why would I say that when I have a blonde wig in my closet right now? Blonde hair is gorgeous. It looks beautiful to the point where I want to wear it on myself sometimes. Same goes for type 4 hair. I just like to be able to be fluid with my beauty. But I've noticed that a lot of unambiguous women, they want to be fluid with their beauty, but then they don't respect those with fluid identities. And that is mixed race Black women like ourselves. So if you want to have fluid beauty, that's fine, but put some respect on my name, put some respect on my hair texture, put some respect on all of our different eye colors, the different facial features we have, whether we have freckles or whatever. Just put some respect on our name and stop trying to pretend like you don't find us beautiful when we already know that you do. But anyway, what do you ladies think? Do you have a fluid beauty identity like me? Because I know that for me, I can pay my unambiguous tax. I don't come on here disparaging unambiguous women because their body type is actually my ideal beauty standard for myself. I love my body type that I got from Black women or, that I inherited. So I don't feel the need to disparage them because I like to incorporate their phenotype into mine. And the same goes for pretty much every other phenotype on earth. And so the way that I avoid cognitive dissonance is I don't talk shit about it because I know deep down inside that at some point I will want to look like that. And so that's what gives me the freedom and the confidence to wear whatever wigs I want, whatever texture I want, tan as much as I want, or brighten myself using vitamin C or staying out of the sun. Like I don't have any cognitive dissonance about it because I'm not trying to convince others that I think that I only look good in my most natural state. The way that I view beauty is there are some instances where I feel like certain types of beauty would look better than mine or would help me social climb more than my natural beauty. So I am able to admit that to myself. I can admit to myself, hey, if I am going to, like, for example, when I went to the Irish festival for St. Patrick's Day, my hair was kind of like a reddish brown and it was in a very loose, wavy hair texture. So I am able to admit to myself, hey, I believe that this brownish kind of lighter hair that looks more European or it's bringing out more of a European phenotype in me, I feel like that looks better for this Irish festival versus wearing my natural jet black type 3 hair. And you know what? I'm able to pay my Irish tax. I can give credit to the beauty of the Irish people. That's a part of my admixture, by the way. But I can give credit to their beauty and say, I think it looks beautiful when, they're showing off their redder hair textures and then showing off their freckles. I want to do that as well. And so I'm going to do that because that's a part of my fluid beauty standard. So I'm able to admit that in certain occasions, certain hair textures that are not my own look better than mine and will help me to social climb more effectively than my own natural phenotype. It doesn't mean that, I hate my phenotype or whatever. But what is self-hate, though, is when I get mad at other people who don't have my phenotype and then I say that I'm at the bottom and I'm the victim and nobody wants me and I want to project that hatred onto others. That is self-hate. So in conclusion, if you can admit when something else looks better than you, or when you can admit that for a certain occasion or for certain goals that you have, social climbing, dating, work, whatever it is, that certain hair textures do better than yours in the workplace, that's not self-hating because you are able to admit that to yourself. You're not lying to yourself, you're not trying to convince anybody of anything else, and you're not bashing others. But if you try to lie to yourself and say, oh no, I'm better than others, that's actually a form of narcissism. So if you think of narcissistic people, they're actually deeply insecure. And so they will go out of their way to try to convince others that they are this grandiose person, or that their phenotype in this case, or their beauty is some grandiose thing, to the point where they won't admit when another hair texture is beautiful. They won't admit when another eye color is beautiful, or when another race of women is beautiful. And so if you don't want to pay your exotical tax, if you don't want to admit when you find our hair textures beautiful, then yes, I'm going to call out your hypocrisy. But anyway, what do you ladies think? Are you able to admit when you find different hair textures beautiful for that occasion? So like I always say, for example, I believe that synthetic wigs look better than human hair, or at least on me, that's what I believe. So if I were ever to go to some sort of formal event, if I were to ever, I don't know, do some sort of thing where I wanted to get very glammed up, I'm going to wear a synthetic hairpiece because it looks more dramatic than what my natural hair does. And I can admit that. Notice how I didn't have to bash anybody. Notice how I'm not trying to convince everybody that I think that my hair just looks perfect for every occasion. My hair does not look perfect for every occasion. My skin does not look perfect for every occasion. My body type doesn't look perfect for every occasion. Only the most insecure people try to project an image of perfection when it comes to their natural phenotype. I haven't seen any other race of women doing that other than unambiguous black women. I'm sorry. I don't see Asian women saying we're the most beautiful women in the world with no beauty enhancements whatsoever, and we just look better than everybody. Everybody else is trying to copy us. We're the blueprint, and then simultaneously looking like a totally different person. I'm sorry, but I've never seen any other group do that other than unambiguous black women. I wouldn't have a problem with the unambiguous content creators if they just admit that they find our phenotype to be beautiful and they find our phenotype to be just as beautiful as theirs. Then I wouldn't have a problem. I would shut up. I wouldn't have a problem if they simply came onto their channels and said, hey, I love curly hair. I think curly hair is drop dead gorgeous. That's why I like to wear curly wigs sometimes. Then I would have no problem whatsoever. You would never hear me throwing shade at them because they're not a hypocrite. They're being real. They're being honest. But when people come on and say that we are ramen noodle head ass bitches, or they try to make fun of our nose shapes for kind of having taller nose bridges and stuff, and then you try to look like that, yes, I do associate that with both jealousy as well as self-hatred, because the most jealous and self-hating people are the ones who are going to go out of their way the most to try to convince you that they're perfect. Notice how on this channel, I never talk about how, I don't say, oh, all of us are just so perfect, we don't have any insecurities. No, I am open about whatever I feel looks better than my phenotype, or whatever I feel looks best on me. I'm very open about my fluid beauty standard, and how, because I like to change up my beauty, I can't come on a platform and say blue eyes are ugly. Well, no, I've worn blue contacts before. So how could I say blue eyes are ugly if a part of my mermaid costume for a cosplay event is going to be blue contacts? That's hypocritical. So my thing is, as long as people pay their exotical tax, as long as they admit that they find us to be beautiful and they love our phenotypes, then I don't have a problem whatsoever. It's only when people start bashing us and calling us ugly and mediocre that I have a problem. But what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.